But motivation is so fickle. So if you're waiting to feel motivated, like you may never do something, you've got to actually take action first, and then you will feel motivated. It's not the other way around. Hey, friend, welcome back to the podcast. This is my first podcast recording since my little vacation last week. Ari and I went down to Bougie on Miramar Beach, the new condo that we bought in October, November. So it's our second one down in Florida, but we went with like a cousin's trip. Can I just say I totally recommend cousins trips? Because a lot of times I'm going to just go off on a tangent here, but I think sometimes we hang out with our cousins when we're little, and we used to spend a lot of time, at grandma and grandpa's house with the cousins, and it was great. And then you just get older and you move to different places, and the cousins are some of your first friends. And so there was 5 of us cousins, all girls, and then 3, or was it 4 cousins? 4 cousins, and then 3 daughters of the cousins. Like I took Ari, and then one of my cousins brought her granddaughter. So she is actually Ari's biological grandmother, and her son is Ari's biological father. And she brought her other son's daughter, which we're just gonna say is a second cousin. But I believe when we were Googling it, it's like first cousin once removed. And I'm like, why do we have to have any first removed crap? So we're just going with second cousin. And so there was 9 of us in Bougie on Miramar Beach. You can look that up, by the way, on Instagram. Shameless plug for our condo down there. It was stinking fabulous. 6 days on the beach. It was amazing. Jason had Ava baby in Mexico City on a missions trip with our church. So they were there doing that. And the big boys were here at home taking care of the place. Adult kids are just amazing. Just amazing to have like adult boys that can like take care of the house and the dogs and all the things. So it was a great time. And this is my first podcast since coming back. So I feel like you guys are going to get a word dump today, which is good for those of you that actually need it. So here's what I want to chat about today. I want to chat about getting you out of the dream zone and getting you into the do zone. And this is for business, but this could apply to anything. So if you're like, Jenna, I've already got the business, I don't need to listen to this. No, you're going to get something out of this because you have other dreams this will be relative to other than just starting a business. But for those of you who have been trying so hard to start, I think this will be really helpful to you. And so, uh, I find it interesting, having coached as many women as I have now in the last, let's just say 12 years. And I think we're at 23,000 women that I've coached. So you definitely begin to see patterns. You definitely begin to see, patterns, and you can kind of pick some things out. And so there's always people that I can tell are just kind of big talkers from the start. And you all know big talkers, people that are in your world. Maybe it's family members, neighbors, friends, who they always talk about starting the thing, and they have lots of big ideas, but they never actually start the thing, right? They're always talking, and you just kind of internally roll your eyes because you're like, I heard you had a dream about something else 2 years ago, and the year before that you were gonna do this, and the year before that it was that. And so we all know big talkers, right? And so it's interesting because then you all probably also know somebody who has started a business for themselves. And maybe it's you, and maybe there's people around you who are like, gosh, I wish that I could do what you do. And if you know somebody, if you're already have started a business, you know somebody who's like, I wish I could do that. I wish I had the guts to do what you've done. I want you to send them this podcast. Like literally stop right now and hit send and send this to them, because I've got several things that I want to talk about today that I believe are the reasons that people get stuck in the dream zone and they never actually get to the doing zone. And because there's just a huge difference ultimately between the people that take action and the people that do not. Uh, the inventor of Atari. I talk about this quote in my book, Fear's Not the Boss of You. I've talked about it in my coaching groups lately, but he says something. Let's see. I think I screenshotted it. So I made sure and quote him word for word. So he's the guy that started Atari. And he said, everyone who has ever taken a shower has had an idea. It's the person who gets out of the shower, dries off, and does something about it that makes a difference. And isn't that the truth? Because everybody has dreams in the shower, when you're driving, when you're on the beach or whatever. But what is the difference between the people who actually do something and the people who just are talking? And so that's what we're going to chat about today. Okay. Number one, um, Oftentimes, I think that we think it's a lack of motivation that makes people not start something, but that's not even actually true. Like sometimes it's not that they're like lacking motivation, it's that they haven't taken any action yet. So many people think that I will wait, and take the action once I feel motivated, but that's actually not true. You need to take action and then motivation actually comes. Like motivation is super short-lived. Today, I'm motivated to eat really clean. Easton's wedding, shout out to Easton, who's editing this for YouTube. If you watch me on YouTube, say hi to Easton in the chat below. But his wedding is 24 days from now. So right now, I am super motivated to make sure that my eating is clean. I'm really high on protein. I'm really low on carbs and I'm getting my workouts in. Okay. But motivation is short lived. So tomorrow I could wake up and be like, you know what, screw it, and make myself a batch of chocolate chip cookie dough and eat it raw. I have figured out how to do it in a fourth. And by the way, this is like life hacks from Jennifer. You can take a chocolate chip cookie dough recipe and just make it into a fourth, guys. Just ask ChatGPT, how do I make this into a fourth? Copy and paste it in there. Don't add egg and don't add baking soda or baking powder. Add everything else. Oh my gosh, it's just delightful. It's so delightful. I love it so much. But motivation is so fickle. So if you're waiting to feel motivated, like you may never do something, you've got to actually take action first and then you will feel motivated. It's not the other way around. Okay. So that's what I want to say about motivation. I also want to say this for point number two. The difference between people who stay in this dream zone and the do zone is that sometimes I think like the dream zone, it feels like kind of warm and cozy. It's like being wrapped up in a dream blanket. It's like, we actually, can I just say this? We actually can sometimes make the dream into an idol. It's true. I mean, if you think about the people you know who have had a dream of starting the painting company, the dream of being a public speaker, the dream of writing a book, and they talk about it for years and years on end and they never actually do it. Well, it's because sometimes they're like holding that dream and they're coddling it, they're petting it. If you're watching on YouTube, yes, I'm doing a weird petting action, but they've made that dream into an idol instead of like obeying the call of God in their life, instead of being obedient to what they feel like they're supposed to do, instead of stepping out in courage and just trying something. But the dreaming part, it keeps you feeling safe because there's no rejection or risk associated with the dream. If something's only in your journal, it's only in your brain, it's only something that you've shared with the people closest to you, there's no risk associated with that. Actually, like doing the thing, yeah, that's risky. Actually, like stepping out in faith and making a Facebook page, yeah, that feels like you're standing on the internet naked. And then posting on it for every 15 years, yeah, it gets to be a little bit of a grind. I'm not going to lie. But dreaming will always feel like safe and fun and cozy, like a good blanket. In fact, can we talk blankets for a second? And by the way, this is my podcast, so I get to go off on whatever tangent I want to. I also get to play with my hair if you're watching me on YouTube, because my hair is bugging me today. And it's just a nervous tick. I just always play with my hair. I don't know why. Okay, so my friend Shauna got our future daughter-in-law Bella a blanket for her bridal shower. And it's apparently called, the brand is called Lola. Have you guys heard of this? Lola, just like my dog's name. Lola's sitting right next to me or underneath me right now on the sofa. But where's my picture of the Lola blankets? Okay, so everybody was freaking out over this Lola blanket at the bridal shower because it looks like this. If you're watching on YouTube, they're super soft. Super, Shauna said they're super like stretchy. I don't know, but this is going on my birthday list, which is in July, by the way, for any of you who want to know. And so if you know anybody that owns Lola blankets, works for Lola blankets, let them know, like hook me up because Shauna was all excited. Bella about fell out at this gift because they're pricey little blankets, but dreaming feels like that warm, cozy fur stretchy blanket and people get stuck right there. Okay. Third reason I think people stay in the dream zone and never get over to the do zone is because they say that they're waiting for things to be perfect, perfect timing, perfect idea, perfect economy, perfect schedule, perfect amount of support, etc. Can I just like blow the lid off that and just let you know that there's never a perfect time? It's for those of you that have children. You know how you're waiting for like the perfect time to start a family? There's no such thing. There's no perfect time to do something that is essentially a risk. But friends, this is like the cost of entry into entrepreneurship. The cost of entry is I am willing to do something that I don't know if it's going to fail or not. The cost of entry is I am willing to do something that I'm scared about. I'm willing to do something that makes me nervous because I could end up looking stupid in front of people. Listen, the Bible is so clear that the fear of man is a snare. What that means is when we're more worried about what people think of us than what we are about what God's asking us to do or what it is that even we want to do, we will always be caught in a trap. It's a trap. It will keep you small. The Bible says that God draws you out into wide open places. So if you're waiting for things to be perfect, like wait no more, my friend, today's the day. Like ding, ding, ding. This is it. It's never going to be a perfect time. There will always be something. It kind of reminds me how Jason and we always joke like after this season, things will really slow down. I mean, how many of you have been saying that for a decade? After this season, things are really going to slow down. We thought after we graduated one kid, things would slow down. Nope. After we graduated two, things would slow. Nope. After graduating three, nope. Things just keep getting busier. And so if you're waiting for perfect timing, it's never going to come. So we know you're scared. We know you're scared of failure. The difference between the people who do and the people that only dream is that the people who do are willing to take the risk and bet on themselves. I posted on my Instagram the other day. There are people that won't take 3 years to build a business, but they'll spend 30 years working for a company they don't even enjoy. I mean, isn't that the truth, friends? So it's not going to be perfect. You're stalling. And you need to get busy because you're losing time and dollars every single day. All right. My pastor has a saying that I love so much, and I made sure that I got it exactly from him. Here is what he says. We often judge others by their actions, but we judge ourselves by the intentions. We intend to start the business. We intend to do the hard thing. We intend to be courageous. We intend to set a good example for our kids. And so we're judging ourselves by our intentions, but we're judging other people by what they actually do and don't do. And I wonder what would happen if we would actually start using that same judgment in a healthy way towards our own self. Instead of just, I've been meaning to start this thing. Well, what about if you actually like go ahead and do it and just let like the rubber actually hit the road. Okay. Fourth thing, which is hard to like phrase in a good way, but I'm going to phrase this in a way that every single one of you are going to get. Okay. Some of you haven't been able to get out of the dream zone into the zoo zone because you just don't have a hungry belly. And by hungry belly, I mean this: you're not desperate enough for it. You are not in a situation where you have to make money. You're not in a situation where you have to make a change. When I got laid off from corporate America before we had kids, so Noah's 23, so it had been 24 years, 25 years ago. That's when I started my business. The reason I started a painting company is because I didn't have a job. I was without a job. And when you're without a job and you need to have a job, that will make you, it will force your hand. You have a hungry belly. It will motivate you to do something that you wouldn't normally do. Same thing for those of you who are single mamas out there. You're some of the most motivated people out there because you don't have a choice. You've got kids to take care of, right? You make great entrepreneurs because you're willing to do the hard thing because you kind of have to, right? And so if you're somebody who is like, you know what, I'm really not in a situation where I have to make money. I've got this day job that's pretty cush. And, so I don't have to like start something. If you really want to get out of the dream zone into the do zone, quit the day job. I double dog dare you. That'll motivate the heck out of you. When you don't have plan B to fall back on, quit assuming that you'll go all in on a business if you're constantly having a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. You've got a spouse's income, you've got your day job, you've got a second job. If you don't have any of those things to fall back on, you will double down on efforts to build something different. And so you just might not have a hungry belly. And the last thing that I want to say is this, and I say this with like all the love in my heart. Okay, so hear me out. I love you, but some of you just aren't cut out for entrepreneurship, and that's okay. That's okay. That's point number 5. You would be a great number 2 person on somebody else's team. One of the girls who works for me, she was a client of mine first. Well, it's Nell. I can tell you guys that. Nell wouldn't mind that I tell you. She's my director of operations. She basically runs the whole company. And so Nell was a client. She was in my mastermind. Um, she coached with me, and she came to me one day and she's like, you know what? I think rather than continuing, she owned a brick and mortar, and was trying to do some things online. She said, I think I would rather work for you instead of me actually being the entrepreneur. I think I just want to support the entrepreneur. They make incredible director of ops type of people. Incredible, because they understand what it takes to run a business. They know what has to go on, and like, the forefront and the back front. I mean, thank goodness for no, right? But like, some of you, you're not cut out to be the face of a company, to be the one that's like facing forward, to be the one that's taking all the risk, but you would make someone one heck of a number two person on the team. And in Nell's case, she literally just reached out to me cold. I hired her like part-time to do some VA work. And here we are 6 years later, and she's running the company. And so, if you're hearing this and you're like, ooh, that maybe hits home, Jen, I'm telling you, just be somebody's number one person that is an entrepreneur. You'd probably be amazing at it. And so I hope that that's helpful for somebody today. I hope somebody's leaving here today and they're like, okay, that Jen just gave me some things to think about in terms of like why I just constantly keep talking about the thing and I never actually do the thing. And so you might like just really need to reevaluate your motivation, because motivation is so fickle. That was the first thing I talked about. Second was that you have turned like the dream into like this cozy little cuddly bear, and you actually made that into an idol. It's easier just to dream than it is do the thing. Number three is you're scared. Look, we're all scared. We're all scared. If you're waiting for perfectionism, if you're waiting for any guarantee it's not going to fail, you're not going to get it. Point number four was you might just not be hungry enough. That's honest to goodness the truth. I see more people be successful in business when they have no other option than any other group of people. And the fifth and final reason was you might just not be cut out for it, and that's okay too. So I hope this was helpful to some of you. If it was, phenomenal. If you're like, Jen, you're my woman, please coach me. Send me a DM on Instagram. We'll figure out if I've got a program that I can send you to. I can tell you about my coaching opportunities. I don't have a mastermind this year. So there's not that, but send me a DM on Instagram. If you're like, Jen, I'm wired tight, I am doing the thing, to God be the glory, I want you to send this podcast though to someone you know who's had a hard time starting, because we can all think of people who are big dreamers, big talkers, and have never started. And I want this podcast episode to be something that just gives them like an aha moment, because honestly, if we can get to the root of why we behave in the way that we do, then we can fix it. But it's getting to the root of a thing first, and it's biblical. Like, get to the root of why you behave the way you do. Ask the Lord, is there any truth to this? Do I need to adjust this? What do you want me to do here? What do I need to shift? How does my perspective need to change? And then do what you're going to do. And so any way I can support you, let me know. I am rooting for you. I mean it. I'm actually going to do, I think, the next podcast episode that I'm going to record right after this one is about passion. And is passion enough, in terms of like starting a business? And why I actually think that's a problematic message. And so make sure you listen to the next episode here on the Jennifer Allwood Show. Love you so much, friend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Easton. My stomach just growled so loud, which is crazy because your daddy just made me steak and eggs. And if you didn't work that big boy job in an office, you would have been home for the steak and eggs, son. And I'm sorry. So mom got a filet mignon and 2 fried eggs for lunch day.